All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, welcome to Conversations, where today we have Dorothy Wood Vance and Dr. Garland Vance, who have spent over 25 years helping leaders discover and maximize their unique talents and empowering good leaders to become great. Together, they co-founded Advanced Leadership, now recognized as one of the top 20 leadership development companies in America. They are both passionate about leadership and recently published the book, Unleashed Leadership. Welcome to the show. How are you today, Dorothy and Garland?
Thank you. We're doing great. It's good to be here.
Very excited for this conversation today.
Absolutely. Where are you coming to us from today?
We are coming from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes. Now, so both of us are actually University of Florida Gator fans, and so we consider ourselves missionaries.
Strangers in a strange land.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's so funny. So you're yesterday I recorded with somebody from Memphis.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we'll just keep that
Memphis
going.
may as well not even be in the same state. It would take us 7 or 8 hours to get to Memphis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tennessee is a long state.
Well, I appreciate both of you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk about leadership. I mean, it's when you talk about leadership and when you're passionate about leadership, it's not work, is it?
It's not. I feel like our conversations are usually we'll watch a movie or a TV show and we'll get done. And our kids are like, Mom and Dad are going to talk about leadership now, so we're going to go away.
Yeah, what leadership lessons were in that movie? How can they apply this?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hopefully we're going to get some leaders unleashed today. At least give them a little bit of information about that. So in your book, you say that every problem in business starts as a leadership problem. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so that's always a hard pill for people to swallow. And it's a hard pill for us to swallow. Anytime our business is encountering a problem, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, it starts with me. And so it's not an easy pill to swallow. But here's the reality is that businesses are the result of the decisions and the actions and the strategies that leaders implement. And that could be all the way up to the C-suite, but that can also be the frontline leader and the decisions they're making, the actions and the strategies that they're using. What that means is that every problem that your business faces starts with the problems and the issues that leaders are having. And again, hard pill to swallow, but that also means that every solution in the business starts with the leaders who make those choices.
Right. And would you, I'm going to say my own philosophy here. Would you say that everyone is a leader? When you're looking at an organization, would you say we all kind of wear that leadership hat in some capacity?
Yeah, I think we would say something close to that. I think we would say that there are positional leaders who have, a title and certain managerial responsibilities. And then you have others. And I think everyone in the organization has the potential of being a leader. And I think that everybody in the organization is going to have different times where they will have leadership responsibilities, even without the position or the power. And it's whether that person is willing to step up into that responsibility.
And what the research shows is that there are actually very few natural born leaders, and that most people have to be trained for their leadership positions.
Yeah. And I agree with you there. I agree that we all, regardless of where you land on a hierarchy chart, it's something that we always should be cultivating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Looking at ourselves and discerning, okay, what do we need to learn more of?
A skill to develop.
That's
right. A skill to develop that has all these little mini skills underneath.
Agreed. All right. So what does it mean to be a leash leader? So your book is Unleash Leader. So what is a leash leader? Because that sounds like, I think a lot of people will identify with this.
We think so, and that's what we have observed as well. People might not use that language yet, but once we start describing what it is, then we get the hands up of, oh, wow, yeah, we know what that feels like. So all of us have, if we've led long enough, have been in the position of knowing what that feeling is of our responsibilities exceeding our abilities. Now, sometimes you can get leashed the other way. Maybe early in your career, if you are one of those rare natural born leaders, your abilities might exceed your responsibilities. That's a leashing as well. But what we have found is if anyone stays in leadership long enough, at some point, it doesn't matter how natural your leadership skills are, everyone is going to feel the tug of that leash of the responsibilities exceeding the abilities. And that's your sign that, oh, wow, there's some area where I need to grow and develop, and I need to figure out what that area is. What is the skill that I'm lacking that I need to develop?
Absolutely. So, what are maybe some of the symptoms there?
We all know that feeling of making progress, like moving 3 steps forward and then getting tugged a couple steps back. And every day when we wake up, we think, okay, this is the day where I'm really going to make progress. I'm going to beat this thing. And then something happens that feels outside of our control, and we feel tugged back. And we realize, I'm not sure I have what it takes to make the progress that I need to make right now. So something that I'm doing needs growth and change.
Yeah. And other symptoms that we see a lot are sometimes there's a sense of imposter syndrome where they pick the wrong person.
Mm,
Sometimes there's a sense of blame, like what are they thinking? And it's somebody else, it's the leader above you or the
mm.
executive team or the board. And you begin saying, what are they thinking? And really what's happening is underneath the surface, we're saying, my abilities aren't yet at the level that my responsibilities require.
That takes self awareness.
It
It
does.
does. Yeah, it's uncanny how many people we'll talk to or groups we'll get into, and we'll start throwing out some of these leadership scenarios or development that's needed, and hardly ever, like I can't even remember a time, have we had people immediately go, "Oh, that's me." Usually the response is, "Oh, that's my leader."
Hmm.
People know what it feels like to be led poorly,
Yes,
but it takes us a little longer to realize when we're the ones who are leading poorly.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And, there's a lot of vulnerability there.
Yeah.
Both
Hmm.
sides, vulnerability for a leader. And I think we'll get into maybe some of that a little bit later, but also for the people who are being led to actually verbally say these things,
Yeah.
Hmm.
whether it's
Yeah.
through assessments like 360s or whatnot, some type of diagnostic where the leader is looking to get better and to understand their people, or, just people having conversations with their leader.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is what I'm seeing and feeling from your leadership. Those are hard conversations that not everybody is ready to have.
Yeah. And
It's
it takes a
true.
lot of humility for a leader to be able to accept that and
Mm.
receive it, or at least listen to it and
Hmm.
then look in the mirror to the best of their abilities without bias and say,
Oh,
is that what it's like to be on the other side of me?
right. Yeah. Interesting. All right. So you talk about the role of leader, and the definition of that is one seeing a clear preferred future who rallies and mobilizes others around that. Why is it important for leaders
Hmm.
to have their own definition?
Yeah, so the word leader is such a ubiquitous word. I mean, it is everywhere. You go into the bookstore and you see it, you go to your and you see it, like it's just everywhere talking about leaders. And what we found is that a lot of people in companies really struggle because we're using different definitions of what a leader is. And so one person thinks of a leader as the person who works the hardest and the longest. And
Mhm.
another person thinks of the leader as the person who inspires people and makes them feel good about stuff. And then a third person leader is the person who always gets results no matter what. Well, if you're dealing with three different definitions of leaders, then how you grow as a leader is going to look differently based on your definition. Who you pick as future leaders and who you cultivate as leaders is going to look different. How you train people is going to look different. And so, what we wanted to do was say, our definition isn't the only one, but this is the definition that we're working off of
Mm-hmm.
in helping leaders understand how to get unleashed.
Which is good. I mean, that says it right there. We
Yeah,
do
yeah.
want to, and we need to paint our people into the picture, right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good way of
bringing
That's
saying
a
them
it.
great way
along.
to say it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Instead of, I love that. And I think we'll steal it and give you credit the first two times that we use it. But we want to paint them into the picture rather than painting the picture onto them and just hoping
Mhm.
that they come up with it on
Mhm.
their own.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. So how would that work? So let's think about this. So I'm a leader. I have my
Mhm.
definition of leadership. I must be sharing it with
Mhm.
people so they understand what my definition is,
Yeah.
correct? And
Yes.
so then the employees would know, okay, well, Kelly is demonstrating leadership because this is her definition of leadership, or Kelly is not demonstrating leadership because she is not demonstrating what she says is leadership. Is that
Right.
kind of what
Yeah,
we're
that's a
going?
huge part of it, and you've got it exactly right. Is we're talking about it, we're sharing it, we're helping people
Mhm.
understand it, and then as a result of it, people can begin to shape how they lead, and the way that they
Mhm.
lead into this definition.
Yeah, it's always good for people to know what the expectation is.
Mhm.
What is Kelly looking for? How will she know when I'm leading well? Oh, well, I know her definition. This is what I have to rise to. And then even more than that, like let's say it's time to hire new leaders. Then everybody's on the same page at the table of what we're looking for and the traits that we need in order to bring other good leaders to the table.
Yeah. And you'll notice in the definition that we used that the key part of it is the future. It's all about
Mhm.
the future. That a leader is somebody who sees a clear, preferred, and desired future, who gathers others around that future, and then who mobilizes others to create the future together. And so, for us at least, a key part of leadership is you have to be seeing and thinking and gathering people and mobilizing people
Mhm.
towards something better that's down the road.
Absolutely. Preach. So you also mentioned about a hero or villain.
Yeah.
Mm,
What is that all about?
Yeah, a lot of leaders miss that they are being constantly evaluated, that people are going home at night and their leaders are the topic at the dinner table. And we can't control as leaders how people perceive us, but we can control the data that we're giving people. We can control whether or not we are looking at people and seeing the potential in them and drawing that out of them and treating them with honor, dignity, and respect. We can control how we speak to people, how we interact with people, whether or not we're the type of leader who demands loyalty but doesn't give loyalty in return. And a lot of times leaders won't categorize themselves as a villain, but they are absolutely a villain in the mind of the people who they are leading if they are keeping them down and not helping them reach their dreams, what they want out of life.
Yeah, and people want to belong, right? They want to
mm,
feel like their leaders
Yes.
see them, hear them, that they feel like they belong in
And that
that
they're needed.
organization and that they're needed.
Yes.
That's
They're
right, what
making a
they're bringing.
contribution. Yes.
That's
yeah.
right, all those things. All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh, yes, this one. Okay. So, what's been your experience when a leader realizes, and we talked about this just a little bit, realize the problem is actually them?
Yeah, the reaction we have seen more than any reaction is a sense of relief. That sounds
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like that wouldn't be the first feeling, but
Yeah.
this is why. When a person realizes, wait a minute, I had some control in this, then they realize that I have control over the solution. If I had a hand in putting us here and putting myself here, then I have a hand in getting myself and getting us out of this situation. And then you can move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, we were just having a conversation with one of our kids that a a leadership mindset does not say this is happening to me, that a leadership mindset says I am happening to this situation. And so how do I bring my full self into this situation? And there is just a tremendous sense of relief that comes when you go, "Oh, I can be the change that I
Hmm.
need to see happen."
Mm-hmm. Instead of not
Right.
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah.
Because we know that there's leaders like that, that
Yeah.
Yes.
it can't be me.
Hmm.
My decisions are always the greatest.
Yeah, yeah, we've seen those. Yeah.
Yes.
Usually a kind of a narcissistic type of
Yes,
mentality. I'm always
absolutely.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but there is a sense for that person, I think there's a deep sense of shame and of embarrassment if
Yeah.
they feel like they caused something to happen. But for a leader who's humble enough, there's tremendous
Mhm.
relief.
Absolutely, which is healthy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's healthy leadership right there. All right. Well, let's get a high view of what the three-stage process you call decide, discern, and deliver is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first stage, decide. This is a lot of times the stage that people will skip. They want to move into action really quickly. A lot of people move through life as if they are running from a burning building and they
Mm-hmm.
have to move as quickly as they can. But really, the way that most situations work is you have time to decide if you need to run from this building or if there's some other solution in mind. So that first step is, do I want to commit to this process? Do I think it's worth it to get unleashed? The second stage, discern. This is the strategic thinking stage. Again, we're still in the building. We've not run out yet. We've not taken action. We are taking the time to think through, how am I going to approach this? And most importantly, what is the root issue? Which really is the heart of the Unleashed leadership framework, is all about these 7 issues that will unleash you from the, we think,
At least
at least
95%.
95%. It's probably higher than that, of the challenges that you'll encounter as a leader. But a lot of times on first look, people will misdiagnose what the issue actually is and then start putting in the wrong solutions. So this discern step is necessary so you actually get to the real problem. And then finally, you can move into the final stage where you actually do the work and deliver on the decision that you made and the strategy that you put in place during the discern stage. And that's where the action happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe like hit the pause button a little bit. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, because
absolutely.
we are, especially in the US, we want to activate, we want to execute, we want to do,
Hmm.
do, do. And instead of hitting that pause button or pumping the brakes or whatever you want to call it, and going through that framework, I think is marvelous. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and we've seen it work help so many times where leaders think that something is wrong. So we worked with one client about a year ago who was so concerned because they thought they had a terrible culture. And we were looking on the outside and looking in, and we were like, oh my gosh, like this is a really healthy culture. It's a great culture from everything that we can tell from the employees who we
Huh.
talked to, everything. They thought they had this huge culture issue. Well, as we started going through those 7 issues, character, competence, capacity, clarity, community, culture, and consistency, what we recognized in them that they couldn't see is that they didn't have a culture issue, they had a capacity issue. Their leaders were so busy and so overwhelmed with so many things to do that developing the culture was harder for them to do. Creating clarity was very difficult for them to do because they were working 80-hour work weeks on a million priorities, and there was just too little capacity for them to create the culture they wanted to create.
And we see that a lot, unfortunately. But it isn't
Unfortunately.
interesting how you look at the culture of that organization. You're like, this is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But through another lens, it's like, no, this isn't good. We need to do something about that. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. Because usually if somebody says our culture is not healthy, it's not good, you're in there and you're like, yeah, you're right. This is not good.
Right.
Well, that's interesting. Well, let's go ahead and land the plane, Dorothy and Garland. Let's talk about those 7 issues. Maybe if you can go through those, and you mentioned them: character, competence, clarity, community, culture, consistency. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So again, all of those start with C. So we'll start
Which
with
I
character.
love.
Well, thanks.
I love
Thanks.
that.
We are all about alliteration.
We love some alliteration. Yeah. So character issues arise, not so much moral character like Enron stuff. That can happen, but character issues often arise from a lack of humility, like we've talked about, a refusal to take responsibility, or even a refusal to handle the hard things, the hard decisions, the hard actions, the hard conversations that need to take place.
We're talking about leadership character more so than a moral or ethical character.
Yeah. So those are the issues that show up with character. And the second is competence. And competence issues show up when leaders are staying stuck in the skills that they developed rather than developing the new skills that their goal or their role requires of them. It's the classic person who was a great salesperson, got promoted to be VP of sales, and now all they're doing is selling the same thing rather than training their people and developing their people. So competence issues are all about those skills that the leader needs to develop. Third issue is capacity. We already talked about that. That's time and energy and attention, because leadership requires time, energy, and attention. And so does the leader know how to delegate things so that she or he can get those things off their plate? Do they know how to manage their time well? Do they know how to manage their energy? Fourth issue is clarity. And clarity is all about the leader's ability to say, where are we going? How are we getting there? What does every person's role play in getting there? And then why is it important to get there in the first place? How does this make the world a better place? So clarity is all about painting that future vision. That leads to community. Community is all about the issues that arise when trust and collaboration aren't there. So does the leader proactively and intentionally develop trust one-on-one with people, but does she also develop trust among the entire team? And can they work together well? That leads to the sixth issue, which is culture. And culture is all about the values lining up with the behaviors. Do those line up together? If we say we value customers, do we treat them in a way that shows them value? If we say we put people first, does that mean we actually talk about people before we talk about profit? And then the last issue is consistency. And consistency is all about, am I as the leader showing up the same every single day? Is my messaging the same? Are my expectations the same? Is even my expectation of change? Does my vision stay the same? And so I'm pushing people to grow and develop. That's all about consistency. And so that is your 7 issues. And those 7 issues we have found in our research comprise at least 95% of the problems that leaders face.
And is there one or two that really consistently stand out? Or
Yeah, there are. You want to take that one?
Yeah, we always go back to clarity, because if the clarity isn't there, if people don't know where are we going, how are we getting there, what's my role in getting there, those types of questions aren't answered, then things tend to fall apart.
Yep.
They're in order for a reason. We believe character is at the foundation of healthy, good leadership. And if you don't have that, then there's really nothing to build the other six upon. And then we
And
see
we
capacity a
see
lot.
capacity a lot. So when we're surveying individual leaders, we see capacity a lot. When we're looking at the organization as a whole, we often see clarity as the issue. One of the things that's interesting though, Kelly, is that nobody ever admits that they have a character issue, but they will point out that somebody else has a character issue. And once we start understanding that whole role of humility and responsibility and handling the hard things, and do I treat people with honor and dignity and respect, then a lot of times leaders will go, okay, yeah, maybe my character isn't all that great. But nobody admits it off the bat.
And Dorothy, I heard you say that for character, it's not like moral or ethical character. How do you like differentiate?
Yeah, we tend to have a optimistic view of people. And I don't know, maybe we shouldn't all the time, but our thinking is if somebody trusts you enough to put you in charge of the lives of other people, then we're thinking that that's a given, that you have some level of moral or ethics. Now, we're thinking of many examples where that has not been true and is not true. But we're just giving people the benefit of the doubt, is how to be a good person. You're not lying, cheating, stealing, right? And we're moving beyond that to, okay, we've got that. Everybody know, even if you're doing it, you should at least know you're not supposed to be doing it. Like, I don't think we need to stand up here and teach you what your mama should have taught you in kindergarten. So we're moving beyond that and saying, all right, we're talking about leadership. It goes above and beyond that. This is something that all of us can work on. We can all work on being a more humble person. We can all work on being a person who is not afraid to enter into conflict in order to reestablish peace. Those are things we can work on.
And that's a lot of good work right there.
It is, yeah.
Oh, so much good information. Thank you so much. I appreciate, again, you just taking the time out of your busy schedules to stop by Conversations and really unpack some of these really important areas for leadership that are also in your book, Unleash Leadership. So I would love for you two to have the last word. Make sure you let us know how people can get a hold of you, where they can buy your book, and anything else you'd like to share. What say you?
Yeah. So we actually want to give a free copy, a free audiobook copy to anybody in your audience who wants to grab that. So if you go to advanceleadership.live/free book, I'll send you the link to that. But advanceleadership.live/free book, you can actually download the audio version of Unleashed Leadership. And just for a little bit of fun, it's a pretty short book. We intentionally made it 120 pages, so it's an airplane read. But just as a fun little bonus, Dorothy and I did add a couple of extra commentaries in there
on the audio
version.
Some more fun stories.
Yes.
We had a good time with it. Of course, if people are a reader, they want the book itself. It's available wherever books are sold. It's available on Amazon. Yeah. And then the community, we'd like to invite people to our community.
Yeah, so we started something this year that we just absolutely love. It's a gathering of leaders from all over the country, all over North America, actually. And so it's called our Unleashed Community. We meet 2 times per month for 90 minutes at a time. About 45 minutes of that is training and development, getting into some really practical tools that come out of Unleashed Leadership. And 45 minutes of that is them connecting with each other, coaching each other, helping each other learn and grow. And for that, you can go to advanceleadership.live/join community, and that'll tell you all about the community.
And we'll be sure to put those in the show notes so they'll be easy to access for the audience. All right. Well, thanks again. And until next time, you keep doing great things, and we'll see you soon.